Hello! Today we're going to be playing around with some granulating paint. I've got these two from Schmincke. One is the Glacier Green and one is the Desert Green. I would have loved to have gone and bought the whole sets, but I couldn't find them here anyway, so I just bought singles. And these were the two that appealed to me the most, although there's a whole bunch of other blue ones which I would also like to get. But for now, these are the two that I have. So my aim today is just to play around with them, see what kind of effects we can get, and then do some doodling. Being a surface pattern designer, I'm always in need of elements to go in my designs. And I find that doodling is a really good way to come up with things that are fun. So I just wanted to play around with them today and do some doodling. And I'll probably mix them with some other materials, just normal watercolors, just to kind of play around and see what kind of effects we can get. So I've got this piece of paper prepared here. So I'm going to put the Glacier Green in the left, the Desert Green in the middle, and then we're going to mix them in that one. And then after that, we'll do free-for-all doodle in the rest of the space. When I tried these out, I found even just putting them on the paper, just putting them on the plate, had a separation effect. So let's see if that happens here. So if I drop some water in and just mix it up, but you can see already that it's starting, there's kind of some pink appearing in there. It's starting to separate already, and if I push it down, push down the brush, you can see the separation occurring already. So I really have to mix that up, and then we'll go straight in on the swatch card. Here you can see blue and all these little pinky particles here. Let's just put some more of that on the top. I saw this being swatched out by another YouTuber, or several other YouTubers to be honest, because I love these paints and so I love to watch videos of them being swatched, and this colour really appealed to me, as did many others. But when I have it here by itself, it seems much grayer, whereas I think when I saw it next to the other colours, it was much bluer. Not to say I'm disappointed, but I was definitely expecting it to be more blue. You can see it's got a kind of reddy streak, not particularly pronounced. So that's the Glacier Green. Let's go for the Desert Green now. This one is really interesting. It's got green and red. And again, I think it separates out on the plate when I add water. But you can see immediately the red in there and this turquoisey kind of green coming out. Oh, it's just so interesting. Let's put it on. Here on the plate, okay, you can see it now. It's got the green and the red separation quite clear here on the plate. Or the red on the outside and the turquoisey in the middle. And here it's, yeah, it's mixed quite well there. What I'll do now is, instead of mixing them together, I'll do some more concentrated of each one, but then I'll add some water so we can get some blooming effects and see how that goes. I'll put the Desert Green on one side. Make it quite thick all over. And then afterwards we'll drop some water in and see what happens. The Glacier Green. Right, let's drop the water in down the middle and see what goes on. The way my table's going, most of the water seems to be coming down here into the greeny desert green. So I'm going to put a bit more here on the side or into the glacier green, and we'll see what happens. I'm loving that. It's gorgeous. It's got this kind of purpley stripy effect happening with the red gathering in bands. That's really interesting. I think there's so much fun to be had with these paints. I love that. It's like the barrier between the land and the sea. It's really interesting. So I'm just going to doodle now. I'll talk every now and then and say what I'm doing. But I'm just going to put some music on and just have a play, and every now and then I'll say what I'm doing, but on the whole it's just playtime. So I'm taking the Glacier Green and I want to see if I just paint some fine lines, if you can see the granulation or not. I think that's going to be better. These remind me of a bunch of fish about to enter the sea. That's what I love about doodling. You just do whatever you feel like and things appear and images happen and stories create themselves. So let's go down here. Look at that. That's just fabulous. You can really see the separation on the plate. So I'm going to do the same thin lines for the glacier green, for the desert green. Now I'm going to get a whole load on my paintbrush and then just paint it out until I've got nothing left on the paintbrush, doing some circles. And this again is the desert green. This paintbrush holds a lot of paint. I still haven't run out. I'll just brush it out until I've got rid of most of it. These are quite interesting. All the random patterning of the granulation. Gradually getting less and less as the paint gets less and less. I'm curious to try mixing it with a bit of yellow. So I've got a Sennelier lemon yellow. So let's try putting that one, seeing what this one comes out like. I'll put a bit of the lemon yellow down here. And then we will put the glacier green going into it. This isn't too strong of a glacier green, but just want it to kind of touch and see how it goes in. If I tilt the paper, then you can see the particles going down, spreading out, following the texture of the paper in a way. And then if I mix them here on the plate, what kind of green do I get? Quite a bright one. That's quite nice actually. I want to play a bit more with this green to see how much granulation is in that. So I'll do 2 circles. One I'll leave like that, and the other I'm going to drop some water into it. I'm just doing this so I could see if I wanted to use these paints but not use them fully as they are with the full granulation. If I mix them with something else, how does that affect it, and does it become more manageable, the granulation, or is it still crazy wild? Like, are any of these red pigments going to separate out? Are we going to see those, or is it going to stay much more controlled? So that's the kind of main reason why I'm doing this bit. And then let's try painting a palm tree with it, because I love a palm tree. And if I mix in some of this desert green, into that, so you can get some really beautiful other shades just by mixing them. I can definitely see the red granulation in that one, not so much in this paler one with the lemon yellow, but in the one where I brought in the desert green, I can definitely see some red granulation. Probably because it's very strong in the desert green. So I'm putting some phthalo cyanine blue down on the palette now, because I want to see how that goes with the Glacier Green. Let's do a band of the Glacier Green. A band of the phthalo blue. And then a band of water between them. I like this Glacier Green with the blue for sea animals. It's like a whale. Taking this phthalo blue. And then I'm going to drop in some desert green to the middle. Let's see what happens there, because it's got some quite strong red separation in the desert green. So that'll be interesting. If the red goes into the blue and makes it purple, we'll see. But I could also try painting that and then wow, look at this. This reminds me of some underwater island. That's gorgeous. Yeah, I've got the palm trees and the island. Maybe we'll have to do another one over here. I'll do some desert green around them. And then we'll give them some blue sea. So much fun. I think these are perfect mixed with other things. I'm loving this going into here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like that turquoise water that gets clearer as you come up to the beach. That's just spectacular. So anybody who's really into drawing beach scenes should probably get themselves some of these paints. I'm just going to try with the Glacier Green. Just want to do some little doodles using what I hoped was quite a diluted version of it. I have some opera pink in my palette, so I think I want to bring that in because this is such a great colour and it's so completely different to these. I feel like trying it out with the desert green. I just feel like with the red pigments of that, I'm going to try doing one of these. So I'll do the circle of the opera green, of the opera pink with the desert green, and let's see what happens with that. Okay, this is such a wild colour. Let's put it here. It's so nice. I don't want to take it off my paintbrush. I just want to splodge it and use it. But I can drop some, I'll drop some of the Glacier into that. But let's go in with the splot of the desert green onto the opera pink. Let's do it. Okay, I'm excited. Let's see what's happening. Wow, look at that. It's happening already. Let's get the Glacier green and put some on here. Oh my gosh. That's just spectacular. I might have to do a whole sheet just filled with dropping it onto different colours. I've got a red here, let's try that one. This is the French Vermilion from Sennelier, and it's quite an orangey red, at least on the tube it is. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with that one too. I just cannot get enough of that opera pink. I absolutely love it. It's coming out completely different to that one, obviously, because it's pink. But yeah, you've got the red in the middle and then this greeny blue which goes into the pink, and the whole thing is just amazing. Right, let's try with the red. This is quite thick. I've got this really quite thick, much thicker than I had the other one. And then the desert green on top. Okay, let's just leave that to do its magic. And in the meantime, on the plate, I'm just going to mix that with the rest with the opera pink and see what kind of colour I get. A purple. Let's see if it granulates. Let's make a big circle of that. That's a really lovely muted purple. And I'll just drop a drop of pure water onto that. That's interesting. I feel like the red was too thick. I could add more water to it here now. But I feel like it didn't quite do the same effect. So I'm going to try that again over here because I'm not happy with, or I'm not satisfied. Let's try. Okay, that's better. That's much more watery. So I think we'll get more flow and more distribution. With the Glacier Green, here we go. Wow, immediately. Let's put another drop. Gosh, it's great. You can just see the pigments moving away as this invasion of other colour comes in. This one here on the plate, this is the opera pink, which turned into a purple when I mixed in the Glacier Green. It looks amazing. It's separating here. So you've got the pinky bits, the deep purple, the pink going out into the red. That looks fabulous. Now I'm going to try the Glacier Green, and I'm just going to try writing Let's go back to these circles because I've got some interesting stuff happening here. This one, wow, there's so much happening in that. Got the purple almost moving away from the grain of the paper, so that's almost coming out very pale. And then brown gathering in the holes, or in the grooves, in the craters on the paper. That is just continuing to amaze me. I wanted to do my split sun somewhere, so I've got a bit of room left here. I'm going to take that purpley one. This is my split sun motif. I'll mix what I have left of the purple into that red over there and just make the last sun with that. So there's some really interesting things happening on here. I think I'd like to do a better gradient. I'll try and do a better gradient. So I'll use the Sennelier yellow light this time. So taking the Glacier Green, and then I'll put the yellow straight into that. So that's my doodle sheet. I hope that was helpful or fun. I think it's fun to see how the paints mix with themselves and with other paints and the kind of effects that you can get. Particularly love this desert island effect here and that one. All these ones where I've dropped the granulating paint into the non-granulating paint, or the regular paint. This one here is just beautiful. This opera pink is spectacular. Then it was also interesting to see how the amounts of red pocket here and there as the paint gets less on the brush, the various gradients. And then here on the thin lines that I drew, you can't really see, well actually no, you can. On the blue one you can see granulation even there. So even if you're doing simple lines, it's very hard for the paint to stay. I can see here there's the green and the red, so it seems very hard for the paint to stay together most of the time, like it has here in the light wash. But most of the time it's separating. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. If you liked my video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.